Peace and light viewers. That old guy Australia, particularly on YouTube and over on BitChute. OE58 on Rumble, but two things there. First of all, BitChute's going to make me buy an account now, but that's fine. I'll organise that. And Rumble, oh God, I don't know what's going on there. Hour and a half to upload a video. Damn. God. You know, gone are the days when we did the whole and it'd drop out. You know, now we're like instant. We want this. It's no different. Look, I put a post up this morning, so at least you know what day it is now, and about attending the rally in Canberra on Sunday. And there's something I left out of there, had pointed out to me, thank you, Brian. The diversity of not just the people that were there, but their trades. You know, we had people who were unemployed, we had people who were tradies like myself, there were people there who were in the medical profession, there were truckies, there were school teachers there were people who worked in clerical, there was bricklayers, there was all sorts of people there. I was astonished because I love meeting people. I really do, I love people. And this love for people, it's become a lot stronger and a lot more important to me over the last 10 years. So, like I always say to people, whoever you think I am today is not the person I'm going to be tomorrow. Changes, constant changing. It's like, oh, you've got an update available. Oh, have I? Good, let's go. And you know how I do that? By meeting people. They're the people who enrich you. They're the people who inform you. They're the people who help water you. They're the ones that help you grow. That's what meeting people's about. You get out of your little insular world, put yourself into a world where you're not comfortable, and become teachable. Let people reach into you, reach into your soul, into your heart, into your mind, and expand yourself. You know, that's what's happening with me. People don't understand it. They just look at me and go, there's that bloody Alan Reid, or that, whatever. I don't really care. I've heard it all before. I've had the judgments, I've had the gossip, I've had the snide comments. None of it bothers me. I swear to God, water off a duck's back. It really, really is. Does not bother me in the bloody least. Anyway, I got mingling with these people and, wow. I was so glad I had that conviction to go in the morning. You're always glad, you know, when you get somewhere and you go, well, I don't know what I was worried about, I should have just been here. You know? Unless you're having a bad holiday. Anyway, it was great. I had a lovely time, and I think it wasn't just the conviction of the people either. It's the unity they have. You know? United for a reason. And they're not some redneck conspiracy theorists. These people are really well informed. They're very well informed, know a lot more than I know, and that's great. And have a lot more information. And let me tell you, when the truth comes out, and it will, because you can't keep the truth hidden. When the truth does come out, eventually, there's going to be a lot of shock and horror. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be pretty pissed off with what's transpired. Particularly by what we call, here in Australia, we've got a cabinet which is made up of the Prime Minister, who's the chairman, and all the state premiers. That's called the National Cabinet. And that's deciding, supposedly, the best path for the Australian public and people through the pandemic, steering us through. Now, as I've said to you, Senator Rex Parker from South Australia put in a Freedom of Information request, was granted that because they said the National Cabinet's not under Australian secrecy laws. So what did Scott Morrison do? Did he give Senator Rex Parker the information from the National Cabinet meetings? Oh no, not Scotty boy, not that good Christian man, no. He went and rewrote the laws to put the National Cabinet under national secrecy laws. You need to know this. This is what the Prime Minister did. This is the same Prime Minister who's had 3 petitions sent to him to overturn the findings of the Woods Royal Commission. Now, for those overseas viewers, in America, England, wherever, Latvia, I don't even know where Latvia is. Doesn't matter. Eastern Europe. Maybe. Don't know, anyway. Just came out. We had a commission years ago investigating, a Royal Commission investigating child sexual abuse within the church and institutions. Now, it came out during that, because what they did, they put this guy in, right, Mr. Woods. He became the commissioner for this Royal Commission. They put him in there because he was owned, and he was an idiot. And he was never meant to do what he did. They said, He'll be all right. We can control him. Oh, now Woodsy. Woodsy, what did he do? It went to his head. He was like, oh, all this money, all these guys, investigators working for me, and they began to do a real job. And they found all these police records, which named a former PM as a pedophile, right? Current serving politicians, former serving politicians, barristers, magistrates, lawyers, police commissioners, superintendents, you name it, has known to police as pedophiles, and they're still serving in the Australian government today. So our Christian Prime Minister back then, Mr. Bushy-eyebrow John Howard, who was a Christian Prime Minister, he slapped a 90-year suppression order. When he got hold of the information, was told what Woods had done, he went, what? And freaked out and slapped a 90-year suppression order on it. So everybody would be dead by the time the truth come out. See? That's what it is. Everybody would be dead by the time the truth come out. See? Or the world would be reshaped under the Great Reset. So it didn't matter. So what happens? We try to overturn that. Labor won't touch it. The Greens won't touch it. You must remember, all these politicians who are in politics now, and that includes Craig Kelly, they haven't, although he has come out and said that it should be overturned, I understand that, but they haven't put pressure on the government, and public just kept slamming and slamming and slamming. Because let me tell you, that Woods Royal Commission, that is a scab over the pus. That's the scab. I've said all along, and I'll always say all along, it's always about the children. If you don't understand that and you just think I'm full of shite, that's entirely up to you. But that's a scab over the sore, over the pus. If you don't rip it off, nothing will ever heal. It's not going to heal. We have to get it off. We've tried. Now we get another Christian Prime Minister. Ooh, Scotty from The Office. Scott Morrison. Him who makes me vomit. Every friggin' post is going up. Oh, congratulations, this Olympian. Congratulations, this Olympian. Here I am holding a baby at a coffee shop. Here I am, oh, who knows what. Now, for my overseas viewers, it's called pork barrelling. You know all about it if you've got a state or a county, or whether you've got a seat, or whatever it might be. The current serving sitting member, it's come up to election year. They've got to go out amongst the public and promise them all sorts of beautiful things if they just vote me back in. Well, Scotty's doing the same, pork barrelling, and making himself look like a bloke. Look like a bloke. He's used his wife, Jen, because she's more, not blokey, but she's more Australian, he thinks. Makes him look more Australian, getting Jen into the picture. And his kids, yeah, endear himself to the Australian public, because he's got the lowest ratings he's had since he took office. Like Joe Biden, Boris Johnson, Angela Merkel, Trudeau. They're all the same. People aren't happy and they know it, but they knew this was going to come about when they tried to initiate the Great Reset. They knew the public would be pissed off. So they're all polling low, but they don't care. It means nothing. They get the money and the backing. So anyway, Scotty's the man. Scotty's the man. Him and his church-going mates out at Hillsong with Brian Houston. Now, Brian Houston owns the biggest church in Australia. Got branches in Europe, USA. Oh, a bit of rain there. More rain. And Brian, of course, for my overseas viewers and for Australians who don't know, his father, Frank, used to own the church. It wasn't called Hillsong then. And Frank loved having sex with kids. Let's be honest about this. And Brian found out about it. Dad, don't do it. Oh, I don't think I can do that, son. So he went to the elders. And they came and saw Frank and said, Frank, you've got to stop having sex with kids. He said, well, I don't know if I can do that. It's good fun. So they sent him up the Hawkesbury River. They didn't tell the church up there, which is another branch of this church, what Frank had been up to. They didn't bother telling him. So Frank went up there. God knows what he did up there. The chaos he caused, the children he raped, who knows. When the Woods Commission did their report, guys came forward and said, Frank had sex with me. He was the pastor at this church. And his son, Brian, knew. So they called Brian in. Brian said, oh, no. I followed church teaching. I did everything right. I did it by the book. The Bible says that if your brother sins against you, you go and see him. And if he doesn't take any notice, you give him a crack on the head with a pick. No, you don't. You call the elders in. And they come and talk to him. So I did that. That's what I did. No skin off my nose. No dust on my shoes. No blood on my hands. I did everything the church told me to do, and I was operating on church teaching. And so he kind of got off the hook. There was a bit of a public hue and cry. And so they decided to investigate Brian. They had no choice, but the police commissioner at the time was an attendee at Brian's church out at Hillsong. He attended that damn church. So he was charged with, he was given the task of investigating Brian. It took him 10 years. 10 years. Ask Gabby Chung. Look at Gabby Chung's webpage. Look at her Facebook profile. Gabby Chung is a prolific hunter down of these people. 10 years it took for them to investigate Brian, for this guy. And in the meantime, Hillsong grew. Tax-free dollars, millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars a year coming in. Eventually it got to the point where the evidence amounted too much and they had to charge Brian. The police commissioner attends his church, as does our PM. So the PM rang him and said, Brian, get out of the country, son. They're going to charge you. I'll hold it off for a couple of weeks, you get out of the country. So Brian took off to Texas. PM let him go. So while he was in Texas, they charged him on video hookup. There's no media scrum. And then eventually Brian slipped quietly back into the country, raging against these allegations that he's going to vigorously defend. Vigorously. These are the things that not question my faith about God or whatever you want to call it, or even humanity, but they open my eyes to the brutality and the evil that's in this world and the lengths that these people will go to cover up their crimes. And there's a lot of money behind this. There is a lot of money that you couldn't envisage. And when this all comes out, and it will, when it all comes out, you'll be ashamed of yourself. Because when you see these rallies, like in Canberra, have a look at the signs. Are they all about mandates? Mm-hmm. Have a look how many are there about pedophilia. How many signs are about pedophilia? You see, it's all about the children. That's what it's about. That's what they're coming for. That's what they want, is the children. The only thing in the road are us, standing for everybody. We're the only ones blockading their route to the kids. So don't think badly of us, because we do have convictions over what we do and what we say and what we think. And we have the entire world against us. 95% of the media owned by two companies, BlackRock and Vanguard. All owned by two companies, 120 men, the world's richest men. You need to look on Yahoo Finance and check. All the shipping, all the trucking, all the airlines, all food industry, a majority owned by two companies, Vanguard and BlackRock. And they want the kids. So I will, while there's blood pulsing in my veins, I will stand. I hope to see you in Canberra on Saturday. It's going to be fantastic. If it's raining, bring a brolly. We're taking a swag. See you there. Peace and light. That old guy Australia.